Right. So Home Depot also did earnings. It came in short of down 3%, but they beat Wall Street expectations. So that was really exciting. Something that they talked a lot about were investing in their associates, $1 billion, and that how
Hmm.
that paid off in terms of reducing attrition, keeping kind of their like long tenured, knowledgeable staff in the store. And this is important because pros is where they're really looking at growing. And so they're investing also a lot in their pro business, which I
Hmm.
learned is about, it's only 10% of the customer base, but it's 50% of sales because you
Oh,
get this
wow.
like nice recurring revenue coming in. That was at least what was reported last summer. And like, so kind of after one of their earnings reports. Something else that's interesting as you kind of look at the market and the dynamics with inflation and housing, people are not spending on these big projects. So it's kind of lower AOS transactions that are happening. They're not doing flooring, they're not doing cabinets, they're doing these small projects. But they said, the footfall and people are basically still spending. It's just they're spending less. You also have lumber coming down, so that average ticket price is getting a little bit softer there as just prices overall are decreasing. But something that else that I thought was like really interesting is they're committing to cut and have started to cut about 500 million out of their OPEX. So they're definitely
Hmm.
singing this song of profitability as well, and just continuing to improve.
Yeah, and I think they're having to do that because sales growth definitely slowed down last year. Their growth was only 1% year over year, which is um, pretty low. They described 21 and 2022 as a hurricane, which, as a New Orleans resident, I get a little PTSD from things like Katrina.
Yeah,
Growing up there, so I wouldn't describe anything like a giant hurricane.
I also,
Um,
it's like whenever there are hurricanes coming, that's when Home Depot kicks up the prices, right? Because people go there, they buy a shit ton of plywood because they got a border. Let's quantify that better. But they also, did you hear about how they responded to the question? I think it was from an analyst at UBS who was basically like, "How are you guys thinking about the future?" And they essentially talked about all of this pent up demand. And I'm going to read a couple of things because I think it's really interesting and it tells you how they look at the lens of their business and forecasting. Home appreciation is up 45% in some. Home equity is closer to 70%. So that equity level is 10 to 12 trillion dollars of pent up demand and equity that
huh.
people are just waiting to invest in these bigger projects when the rates get better. You also have untapped balance sheet in terms of the equity and the position in homes, the age of homes. Well over 50% of homes are over 40 years old. So like
Hmm.
they're waiting for that kind of renovation project to happen. And then you also have the shortage of homes. So they're anywhere between 2 million to 6 million units short. So they feel like there's just going to be more and more pent up demand as soon as these rates decline. I guess it's the question, will that hit in 2024 or not?
Yeah, I mean, look, the economy being what it is, interest rates aren't going anywhere as fast as everyone wants them to. Everyone wants rates to drop. And so Home Depot CEO said that they say fewer moves and more kind of in place renovations and not huge projects like they were during the pandemic because everyone already spent their savings down and now they're using buy now, pay later, which maybe
Right.
isn't the best idea. On the plus side, they saw that the 2023 pressures on the consumer pocketbook to actually start declining this year. So even the Home Depot CEO has a little bit of rose colored glasses on for 2024 and sees that things are going to be better.
Their guidance didn't blow anyone out of the water though. What, like, aren't they still like forecasting a 1% increase for the year? But I think they believe in this optimism, and in the event that the rates do shore up, they're going to be ready to take that demand. So look, overall, I think the Home Depot strategy is solid. I feel like they've got a good playbook. They've been investing smartly. Um, Once we do see what happens with the home rates and these bigger projects, I think they're positioned to continue to do well. What do you think?
I do think they're well positioned. I am not so optimistic that people are going to like put on big projects. And so they might just be. I worry that they're sort of overselling what 2024 is going to be for their business.
Yeah, I think what has to happen is if you look at this pro consumer segment that they have, you kind of have to believe that more homes are going to be built, the pros are going to be coming in, and that's really where the growth
Right.
is going to come from, more so than their consumer segment. We'll see.
I agree.